Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. We are back with ship evolution and the jury's in. We're gonna make this a modular ship. Alright, so thank you guys for all the input. Appreciate every comment, every feedback that you guys provided down in the comments below. And I guess in some ways the majority, or maybe not majority, but a good number of you guys said keep it modular. And I think that's what I'm gonna do. So it's gonna be a combination of things. So it's modular, kind of exoskeleton-ish thing, where the outside pieces will definitely be heavy armor blocks and not light armor blocks, obviously, because we don't want to get destroyed really quickly. And what else can we do? Maybe create drones or stations, any variety of things like that. But let's see how we're gonna evolve it from there. But I think, yeah, a good little exoskeleton that's kind of modular, sticks onto this neck piece would be pretty awesome if we can get that going perfectly fine. Now, where do we stick the bridge system here once we get that all set up? That might be another question. I mean, another interesting idea actually might be to create a secondary one of these and put it to the side. That could be something. I don't know. I haven't decided what to do with it yet. But the design, a slight design that I have in mind, does not really incorporate this bridge system or ship at all. So we're gonna find a spot for it somehow, in some way, so that way we don't like lose it or just get rid of it for whatever reason. So that's kind of the idea there. So we're gonna keep this guy moving around so we can collect some stuff. I think actually this thing, it feels like it's full of stuff already, so that's not a good thing because we didn't move stuff around. Yeah, we got a ton of ice in here that we kind of didn't shift over or get it kind of into the other ship to get the O2 H2s to not refine it, but turn it into hydrogen. So we have, do we even have space in here? We kind of do, kind of don't. So that's probably why. Yeah, here's a ton of ice, so we'll leave it as is. Does this thing even have its own O2 H2 system? You know, that is something I don't think we have one in here, actually. That's kind of interesting. Yeah, we don't. So how are we gonna have oxygen in here without an O2 H2 system here? Quite the issue. We're gonna start it up. I'm not sure how far we're gonna get in today's video specifically. We should be producing, okay, it looks like we do need to get a whole bunch of cobalt. Is another thing, right? Actually, we have enough. We just need waiting for it to refine, I think, right? Refinery. Actually, we have a bunch of cobalt, so why isn't it producing? Probably out of this. Nickel. We usually don't mine for nickels. That's probably the issue. So I guess we could kind of beam somewhere to get the nickel. Or do we have nickel? We're just not refining it. We do not have nickel. Interesting. Alright, so let's we got the ice, so let's just move somewhere and park ourselves near a nickel spot. And even a cobalt spot, if anything. And we should start building the exoskeleton piece over there. So connect. There we go. I probably broke something. I don't know. And I don't really think I really mark nickel. Do I mark nickel? Nickel and silver and magnesium. Is that the only nickel that I really marked? No, there's a couple. Nickel, silver, nickel, iron, nickel, magnesium. I think nickel, iron is the better bet. I don't know where that is. but it doesn't matter because we can just go for it and jump there. So the jump drive, I think there's one. We can go for, let's just go for nickel and iron. Let's select that GPS marker. I think that's the way to do it, right? Nickel, iron. Yep, we're gonna go there. Let's just, it's not recharge. Okay, we're good to go. I'm not sure which one I just selected, but it hit 5. Yep, that's the right one. Nickel and iron. Let's just go there. So that is in that direction. Okay, that's not that bad. It's not even that far. It's only about 20 kilometers away. But boom, here we go. All right, so there's the nickel that we need. So we're gonna shift it over this way a little bit more, so that we don't get too close to those voxels. And I think we're good, hopefully. Right? Oops, sorry. There we go. Yeah, we should be good in this direction. And we are. Okay, so we can extend our piston here, grab some nickel, and start. And then we can start our exoskeleton journey here. So refinery, nickel. We're gonna use one of these. We really do need to use one of these, what's it call it, to do that too. And I need to connect to the connector so we can transfer stuff out. Okay, we're locked. Perfect. Oh, it's causing a little bit of clang. Okay, that settled down a bit. So yeah, the connector and piston and everything like that does cause a little bit of clang, not too much. It is a little uncomfortable, but it's not terrible at the same time. And we can kind of deal with it because we just turn it on and off and it just kind of fixes itself for the time being. So yeah, like I said, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. So there's that. All right, so we're moving a little bit, but that's fine. That's because of the drill. So let's just do some nickel, but not too many. Yeah, a little bit at a time is fine. That way we get more metal grids. We're gonna need a ton of metal grids for sure. Ooh, I think it's the drill. It wasn't the piston that was doing the thing. Yeah, it was the drill. All right, that's fine. I think we have more than enough. So let's just back this guy up a little bit. And from here, well, we gotta kind of move everything out too. So that's the problem. So here's a large cargo container. We have a lot of junk, so that's not good either. But all these small cargo containers, I think we can just throw into these larger cargo containers, hopefully. And that should be everything. Well, we do have a lot of small cargo containers. I forget how many, but we do have a lot. Ooh, we are full. Well, not yet. I thought we were full for a second there, but it looks like we have a lot of inventory management to be had or done. And actually, we are good. I think we are good. We finished moving everything, right? Yeah, drill's empty. We're good. We can unlock, right? Get rid of that thing. And if we need to, ooh, this feels so much lighter when there's no ice in the small cargo container. So we'll leave this guy right over here for now. And we'll come back to it if we need to do anything with it or go look for more materials and things like that. So we just close this up. And we are looking good here on its own. So the exoskeleton is going to be made out of heavy armor, as I mentioned before. But first, let's build out the merge points. And we are definitely going to have multiple merge spots. Or, yeah, definitely merge spots. I was thinking metal plates and pistons connect everything together, but that's pointless. It's better to have everything or a full ship connected together. So I'm going to think of multiple merge points and just connect it that way. That's going to be the better way to do these things here. So first we're going to build it off of here, right? 2 merge blocks right over here off the bat. And here is where we could build. What did we do with this? We made it like this initially. So we just added. Okay, I think I see what I did there. Yeah, okay. So we probably have to add something very similar to that. And it's going to be something like this. Right here. Right here and right here. We can change this up a little bit later. But we are looking at, let's see. We used regular full blocks last time, but can we do something like this instead this time? I mean, that means we could change this thing up too. Yeah, why not do that? So we're gonna change that one up this time around. We're gonna use this instead, I think. We should probably have used that to begin with. Right? Yeah, I think we should have just used this to begin with. I don't know why we did it the other way. Except that it might get stuck somewhere. This way it's not going to get stuck. It's going to look a little odd, but we'll be okay. So that's what we're going to go with for this merge point here. And again, it's going to be airtight because of the way it's built. Even though with the little bit of a gap there with the hangar doors, although not visually pleasing, it works for whatever reason. So we could change it up, but if we change it to something that kind of locks into this, then we're gonna have issues. So it would be there's got to be a block for it, but I'm not gonna look for it right this moment in time. Okay, so here we go. We can actually, like, let's not waste any more hydrogen or ice than we already do, so let's just close that up. Here is where we're gonna get started in terms of the exoskeleton. So the exoskeleton's definitely gonna have to use a very similar piece right here in terms of the connector. So we gotta think about a spot for that as well. We should have made this into... Should we have made this into heavy armor? I think we could have done that. Let's just do heavy armor stuff right here. Let's just get that set up here, 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 and the round ones, which we're probably not going to use. So, do we need to make this heavy armor? Probably not. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think the outer layer is going to have to be the heavy armor. So, how are we going to build this out? Now, that's kind of the biggest question here. So, we need to make a center where we can put connectors and conveying junctions, things like that. So, we can hide it and protect it. So, I think here we should put a connector, actually, without a piston. I think that might be the better bet. So, if we did it this way, it should fit in perfectly fine. So here's our little connector. We can connect it now, later, it doesn't really matter. But that is where we're going to connect everything in terms of a conveying junction or something like that, right? So let's see. Here it's going to be a little bit difficult to build it out, but we should be okay. Actually, I'm not liking this too much. Yeah, we're not like, that's gonna have to change a little bit. Other than that, I do want to make it so we have some weapons up front and protect some of these things here. So we can make a shell that kind of goes inwards this way too, and then goes around the thrust here. And that might be something that we could do, but for now we're just gonna add these points here, and let's see, we're just gonna have to build around it in some ways at the same time too. So I think that's the furthest ship Should that be the furthest I go with these things here? I mean, I could add something like this. I don't think there's a point in doing this right this moment, but in terms of a small little design, we could probably leave it as that, just to get that initial merge point in, and then the rest we're gonna have to like kind of do the exoskeleton from there. So a decent way of doing that is gonna be like this in a way, but I think it should be using heavy armor blocks here, because these are likely gonna be the outside pieces. So let's just switch it out from here. So we're gonna use heavy armor blocks, and look at how much they take. 135 steel plates, 50 metal grids, and 15 steel plates. So that's quite the materials necessary for this build right there. So here's the heavy armor, and of course with heavy armor we're gonna have to add a whole ton more of thrusters as well, because it's gonna make this whole entire thing extremely heavy. So that's the other issue that we're gonna run into. So here, just as kind of the basics of it, we're gonna have to design it out a little bit more than that, because this is gonna turn into something too basic. But if do we want to bring it inwards, or do we want to just exo out of it from here? So when I say exo out of it, it means something like this. Bring this upwards a little bit, and we could bring it upwards in an odd way, or we keep it in a neat way. Before we get too far from here, wasting oxygen, of course. But I need some energy. Alright, so there's actually 2 doors there that I forgot about, so we're gonna just put that there. Okay, so the exo piece here, I don't know. It's if I do it this way, it looks cooler, but it becomes a weak point, because if one knocks off, the whole entire thing comes off. So that's where we should probably not do it that way, and do the full block over here, and then curve blocks this way. That might be the better way to do it. So yeah, so we're gonna keep putting it this way until we get high enough but not too high. I think we're gonna go as far as one more right here. So would that look okay? That's not terrible, but I think I would prefer the slower sloping spot option, meaning we're gonna use the half slope blocks, this one here, add the this one, do a full block here, and then we just do this again, and we can add the full blocks and everything on the bottom from that side there. So yeah, this is working a little bit better right there. Okay, and I like the slope, it's not too bad. Okay, so we can keep going a little bit more. Looks like that's good. Maybe one more right there, and then the rest is going to be heavy armor right there. So now we have a little bit of a gap here for connectors or stuff like that. So this is kind of the idea of wrapping it with an exoskeleton in a way, and this is just the initial piece of it. We're gonna find ways to wrap it so we don't touch and get burned from our thrusters. So that's kind of the main point here, is not to get in the way of the thrusters and just build around it as much as we can. And yeah, so am I using light armor here or heavy armor? Heavy armor. Okay, good. Actually, I should really do this, although it's gonna change up my pattern of pressing keys. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. So I'm used to my control 1, which is our tools first, right? Character tools. We have welding, we have grinding, and then we have drills and everything like that. But we're not gonna add drills. So then we can change up our items here, or toolbar here, so we can easily access the blocks that we need and the armors that we need. So there we go. So here is this one. So that's perfect. It has everything we need. Okay. So that's going to be our 4. Okay. So that's fine. So now that makes it a little bit more easier for me since I'm used to pressing 4. Well, I'm used to pressing 4 specifically for the regular blocks. But now it's going to be 3 and 4. It's not anything terrible or crazy. But as long as we have a grinder on the right key, it's going to be easier to play around with. And it also helps prevent me from accidentally putting a light armor block instead. Because I've done that before many, many times. Because I'm too used to pressing specific keys. Okay, so this exoskeleton is looking decent. We could use a half block instead, but it's not going to work out as great with a half block. So we're going to just leave it like this. And then from here, right in here, or in any potential other areas, we could put like a conveyor over there and connect it from there so we can add some weapons to the side. So we do want to kind of end up closing these gaps up too. So these could be kind of closed up like this in some ways, or we could do the same thing with the slopes and go the opposite way here. And that will give us multiple points of contact, so we don't destroy anything and get too close to the build itself, so that it's gonna get stuck. So yeah, that's a little bit close for comfort actually, but it's fine. We just gotta find a way to do this without really getting it stuck. So yeah, it's likely gonna be this. So let me just put these. Oh, I can't put it here. So okay, so that's our first problem we're gonna run into, is this spots where I can't put anything because of this. And I mean, we could just get rid of that. That's not a big deal. I mean, that piece is not even 100% necessary. That was just a design aspect. So if we need to remove it, we can remove it. And I'm thinking that's what I'm gonna do. We can make it without it. Do we even need it? No, we can leave it like that. That actually looks not too bad. So it actually looks worse the way it was already. So we could just leave it like that, and that's just gonna look decent. But can we add something here like so? We could do that. I mean, if we want to keep this, we could just keep it like this. Just give it a little bit of a point right there. Yeah, alright, that actually looks pretty good. So we're gonna do it that way. So let's just get rid of that piece and add this right here. Alright, there we go. And back to our color scheme, which we can change around later on. I think I just did white for everything here, which is not exactly what I wanted, but we will color it later down the line when we get a little annoyed of it. But here we go. So you got a bit of multiple points of contact, and it brings it all the way over here. And we can put connectors and grab it from these things here, if that's what we want to do. Or yeah, connectors in some ways. So it's going to be a really, really tight kind of modular system. So we're going to kind of figure that out. Or maybe we don't make it modular. Huh. I kind of feel like we shouldn't even make it modular. We should just make it part of the whole entire thing. This is going to be the front. And if we want to, we can connect the bridge system right here up front and hide it as a escape pod or something like that if we need to. And then we can keep this front bridge here protected while we have this thing as a battleship. So I think that might be the better way to go as I'm building this and seeing how it's gonna work out. I feel like that would be the best thing to do. So I guess we'll see. If it doesn't turn out great because it's modular, we can convert it a little bit. It's never too late to do that because honestly it's just a merge block of 2. So we can just change that out to a block and so be it from there. Alright, so how we're going to connect everything is another question. That's kind of why I'm questioning, should I even make it modular in that sense. But at least we have the front piece going. But we need to start getting expanding it out a little bit more as well. So we can't put stuff next to this thruster. Unfortunately, we have some thrusters here. So we got to build around it in that sense. So how should we do this is another question. I think we should add a decent point right here. So that's gonna touch this in terms of when it's merged in. So that's gonna get bad. So we have to make it in a different way. So something like this, and then we do half blocks. Although half armor blocks is more than a regular block in terms of materials, but it's not as protective still as a regular large block or a regular block. So we just gotta make some connections there. All right, so that's fine. Ooh, I just realized we are sitting right underneath these thrusters. That's not gonna be good. So we need to kind of build around those two. So this is where it gets difficult. Is just building around all the thrusters. So obviously this is probably not the best idea in terms of ease of making something, but we should be okay. So let's see, I guess we can add, yeah, we can add this here. Half heavy armor blocks right there, and here is where we can just take this one out, this one, and this one. And that out. So at least we don't touch anything to get them burned down. So the worst part about this is now, do we build around it from here? I think we do, right? Yeah, we do that. So it's gonna be, let's just get a regular block. We'll just build it right around here, so there's no weak points. Right there. And then from the inside, we could build a little bit stuff over here, but we're not going to do that right now. So that's kind of the exo protection. We could add some additional windows over here we need to, or additional designing from here if we had to. I think we're gonna try, we should try this at least. Have another connecting point right over here. So we just add this right like so. And if we wanted to, we'll just add it right over here as another piece of the puzzle. And we can add some other stuff there too. So this is the exoskeleton piece. I haven't even thought about building the inner piece of it yet, so it's a lot of things that's gonna have to happen here. So let's see. In terms of a connection for making our turrets and everything like that, we definitely need to add connector points somewhere. And this is where a modular system becomes difficult, because we need a connection from a connector. So, I mean, this is a decent spot, but should we even really do that, right? So, it's gonna be tight. Because if we didn't do it that way, if it's not a mergeable modular system, honestly, put a conveyor junction here, another one right here, we got a turret system right over here. And then we can connect all our other turret systems through this connector or through this spine that I created over here. So maybe I don't make this modular. I don't know. I'm having a difficult time deciding on that. And I could bring it a little higher to avoid the collision. So that's another piece of the puzzle, right? So we can honestly just do this. We'll just bring it up one more. And we should be okay in terms of spacing. I guess we could just do that, right? I mean, I guess why not? Is the question. Let's see. I just didn't want to do it because it's gonna get way too high up, and actually that's not terrible. So maybe we do keep it that way. Yeah, I think we do just make it a little higher, and we should be okay in that sense. So then the unfortunate part is this. We can't put anything here because that thruster is gonna hit it. So we have to leave it kind of like this currently. And it's gonna look a little bit odd, but should be okay. Yeah, I think we'll be fine. Okay, so we'll just bring a block over here. Over here. And I'm just gonna build it out from here on out. Yeah, we should be okay. So it's more about connecting this piece to this piece. So we could go with doing it this way, and then we'll find a way to kind of get it back in there the right way. But we're just gonna do it this way for the time being, and we can figure out the designing of, or make it look a little bit better later. So there we go. So we can just now get rid of, we don't necessarily need to get rid of this piece yet. So I'm gonna leave that alone, and let's just take everything else out. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna get rid of all these for now. Well, we probably should have kept it actually, because the connectors, I mean, I'm not gonna build anything there. I don't know. We'll just get rid of it. And get rid of that one. Here we can just do this. Right? Kind of not. Here we go. So that's that. And we should have kept the half blocks here, just to keep it from breaking, if anything. And I think that's good enough for now. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so that's the shell. We're gonna expand this out even more. So like right here, we can scoop it downwards if we need to. But let's see how that's gonna turn out. It's just becoming more and more difficult as I'm building it. So let's see. We at least built around. Yeah, we at least built around some of the stuff there. So it looks like we could build a couple points here. Okay, let's reevaluate a little bit here. So if we keep it modular, we need 2 points of connection. We can connect right here in terms of connector, or we connect it right here. Or actually in the back. That actually might be a little bit better. So we put a connector right here to connect. Okay, it's not high enough. So that's another problem that we're having. So maybe we bring it out here. So we want to bring it out, let's just say this piece here. We're going to have to do this, where this becomes a sort of a T. Like that. Yeah, that might be it. So I'm gonna do that. Put a T shape here. We can... Actually, you know what? I can use that. Yeah, that is what I'm gonna use. This piece right there. So this piece, I probably don't want to use the gold or yellow. This is where I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna put maybe a conveyor junction pipe. That looks decent over there. And then we're gonna add a pipe going upwards. So you can do a pipe end there. We can do a T shape here just for fun. Extra connection. And we could do a connector right here. Right there. And then here we can do... I'm just gonna do this for now. Where's my block? 1, 2. Okay. So this is the connector. Actually, no, I can't do it this way. Scratch that really quickly. I want a connector right here, actually. Would that be the better idea? It's hard. No, well, it's gonna be hard to keep it modular if I left it here. All right, so it's gonna be a weak point if I did this. So here is the connection point. Here is the other connection point, right? We got a snake. So I was hoping to put... we can't even put it here, actually. Conveyor junction. We have to make this higher if we're gonna do that. But yeah, once again, that's where it gets a little tricky in terms of making this a little bit more modular as well. So the connection point or connector point is right here. But I need a conveyor junction here instead. So that's not going to work out. You know what? What if... No, that's not going to work either. Or either. What if I did this? Remove that. We're going to do this. Here we go. We're going to take a junction. Like so. And we're going to snake it around. Well, not snake it around, but we're gonna put a piece here, and here's where we can actually, if we need to do a T shape, we do a T shape here, or we just do. Do we do a T shape? I guess we could. Do you want to do a T shape? Yeah, why not? Let's just do it this way for now. And then we can get the connector up one more, or pipe up one more. And here's where we do another T shape, right? Or maybe a cross shape here. Let's do a T shape. We'll do a T shape there. Here's the idea. It might work, it might not work well. It's gonna be like this, and this is where we're gonna put a connector, 2 connectors. We're gonna do it this way and that way, and that way we're gonna connect it over here. So we can bring a conveyor junction, which is probably a really bad spot, but we're gonna put it here. And here. Well, we can put it in multiple spots, right? So we can just do this for now. And this is where we put out connection point here. Here and here. So the only problem with this is that when the modular piece comes out, this part sticks up like that, and it's gonna look a little odd. So do we put a hinge system to make this look different? I don't know. So I think the easiest, actually, I think if anything, yeah, if anything, we add the connector right here actually. So it doesn't look too crazy. So we add the connector right here. It just doesn't make it look too crazy. It looks more like an exhaust point. We're in space, so why would there be an exhaust? But yeah, that looks like an exhaust point, and then we can just bring it up this way. But that just is too high. That's where it gets a little difficult. So maybe, oh, and this is a thruster, so that's all not gonna work out. So none of this is a good idea. I do like the idea of having it going in sideways, but it's just not going to work out that way. So that's a no-go. How can we do this a little bit better? I think we just got to find a different connection point, to be honest. But I don't know. Should we be concerned about that spot? Should we not be concerned about that spot? It's a little hard to tell at this point. But either way, we can continue on to build out this piece. We can make it as basic as just going straight, but I think that's just not fun. So what if we did something like this, just to get that angle in there, and we are gonna need something to support it right over here as well. And that's just gonna be that. And then we go from here to that. Oh, that's a little bit close. Alright, so that's not gonna work out. That's definitely not gonna work out. So I don't know. We could just do that. Oh, I'm playing around with light armor. We don't want light armor. We want heavy armor. So, we just do that, if anything. Nothing too crazy. And let's just bring that out. We will bring this here. And there we go. So we can just build it kind of like that. Like I said, it's gonna be really, really tight in terms of getting the modular piece into it. So maybe, again, maybe we just don't make it modular. Although I really did want it to be, but it's not working out great. Maybe I rethink the whole thing, maybe I don't. I prefer to keep it like an exoskeleton, but can we remove it? Should we have it removable? That's another question. Alright, so another piece is that we can't forget about this connector here as well. So we can always find some way to make the connector. I think we should build it out first instead of going too crazy with doing too much all at once. We'll build it out like this for now, and then we'll see how it kind of goes. So with this piece here, we need to go around this a little bit. So we just got to build it out this way, and we just got to figure out a way to go around this whole thing. So to really encase it and protect it a little bit better, we'll probably just use maybe like a regular block like this, heavy armor blocks, right? And we just surround it a little bit. I'm just gonna use regular heavy armor blocks and make a brick out of it for now. So it's gonna be something like that. And of course we can add like additional more designs here and here, so nothing gets touched or burnt down in that sense, right? That's the possibility of that. Let me Right, let me just connect that so we can grab. Oop, we just grab a bunch of this stuff. All right, that's fine. Okay, so here's what it's gonna look like, basic style, right there. So all these can come protrude out and not have any effect on the thrusters or get burnt down in any ways. Here we can add these slope armor blocks, and we can add one here as well. And we're gonna play around a lot of slope armor blocks, although those are weaker, but it should be okay to use because they are a lot better than a regular light armor block anyway. So we're gonna do this here, and I'm gonna end it right there. All right, that's touching it, so that's not modular. We're gonna have to do it over here instead. We're gonna end it sooner. This here and this. So that's borderline touching it, so that's not good. So you know what? It looks like we're gonna have to do it or stop it from here. Just fine. Well, I actually don't like that. We're gonna have to do it this way. I prefer to slope it slower. Let's do this way so it's not too close. And then from here up top, we can just keep going. Right? So we can just bring it all out this way as an exoskeleton as well. Until we hit this thruster. But again, it gets really, really close over here. So maybe we don't do it this way. Maybe we may need to do it a little bit further out, and that might be it. So it's not gonna be just like this, but we bring this out one more block, like so. But we can leave that as is, or maybe change it up. I don't know. That does look a little odd, but we'll figure that piece out in a second. And we can always do this right there. And since we have that there, or that slope piece, we can just add this here, and that will just kind of complete that cycle there. Okay, so here's our blocks where it's not touching anything or building around the thrusters. We do need a point where it connects to a connector as well. So yeah, so here's the biggest problem I'm having. It's really building out the exoskeleton of it and then put the connectors and extra thrusters. All that's where the problem's gonna lie. So I guess we can just build out the exo first and see what we can protect from there on out, and see where we can connect it. And then if things all go bad, we can just change it up from there, I think. I'm gonna do this piece a little differently. So we're just gonna do it with regular slope. I think we need to sharp slope this to get to the top here. And I hope we're not in the no, we don't have a thruster around here, so we're good. And is that gonna make it? Yes, it is gonna make it. And it's gonna make it right like this though. But that's not too bad. So there's kind of the exoskeleton build for now. I prefer this to look a little bit better, but how is that gonna look? So we're not gonna case the whole thing, obviously. We're gonna leave it kind of protruding out a little bit, but we just gotta figure out how to close things out with the conveyors connected as an exoskeleton and have it protected at the very same time. So, I mean, we could leave it just like this if we had to. We could just do, for an example, a little bit of a designing here where maybe we use half blocks up to a certain point. But let me just leave it open like this right there. And then these we can just use the slope blocks to connect it. So you have 2 points of contact here and not break anything. Like so. And that's just to stabilize it or have it somewhat stable in that sense. And we can just do like slope blocks right here until a certain point. And that should be okay. Yeah, it's something like that is what I'm going for. And yeah, this looks terrible, so we can get rid of these points here. Right there, and right here. So here we can, I don't know, make a slope block or something crazy, or maybe even something like this. I think this will do. In some ways. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. A little bit different thing that I would normally use. But we get some protection from the front here. We can add some other points here to go around it, around this whole piece, but leave this one exposed. So we could do that kind of stuff here. So it's a little bit difficult to kind of think out and build out. So it is turning out kind of what I had in mind. But like I said, it's going to be a little hard to put the connectors and everything like that for extra thrust, for our connectors, conveyor junctions, for the weapons itself. But it's easy enough to do in some ways, right? Because we are creating enough room. We just got to figure that piece out, where to connect it. I mean, a spot right here is an idea to connect it, because there is nothing touching this whatsoever. So we can easily just throw on a connector here. Or maybe even, no, we can put it there. We have to put it here. Somewhere around here and connect it from here. So that actually might be it, right? So we get to this. And all we need is some kind of conveyor junction right here. And a connector right here. And there you go. That's where we're gonna connect everything. And if we're gonna put, let's just say, a turret, we're gonna put it right here. Add the turret right here. Do we have a turret we can use? Let's just say a assault cannon, artillery. Let's just say assault cannon for now. Let's not go too crazy. So here's an assault cannon, right? So we're gonna do something like that. And I feel like that might be it. And then even if we disconnect, this is not gonna be too crazy, or it wouldn't look too crazy at least. So that might be the connecting point for the top. And of course we can do some connecting points for the bottom, which we can do, or the sides, I mean. We can also put it from there, but it's more about protecting it here than anything. But again, we do need to figure out the thrust as well. And do we do that with all ion thrusters? Probably, because we're not gonna have room to connect everything for with hydrant thrust in that case. But I think this is it. This is what we're gonna have to do. And of course it is ship evolution. We will have to change it up once in a while. So this is probably the first kind of prototype session of it. And then we'll figure out how we're gonna build the rest out later down the line. So yeah, I would say stay tuned as long as you can until it turns out a little bit differently. Yeah, so I think that's it. We're just gonna connect 2 points there. That might just do it. The only problem is if they do shoot down the hydrogen or hydrogen tank, large one, we're gonna have a big problem. Right, so I just need to add it on, or the skeleton on to the other side of it, and then we could probably kind of move on from there, if anything. Alright, so this is what we got so far. We didn't weld up anything because we may or may not have all the materials for it, and plus we should really turn this bridge system, add the welders to weld it up so it's easier to carry, because we can only carry a small amount of metal grids at a time. So here was kind of the test to see how it would look with the bridge system kind of still attached to it, and it honestly doesn't even look that bad in this case. Do you want to keep it this way? Likely not, but it was just an option. I kind of wanted to see what it's going to look like. So that looks okay, but we're not going to keep it this way for sure. So let's be moving this thing away from it. And hopefully that stops in time before it hits the asteroid. Yep. This is what we got so far in terms of the shell of it. It's not looking too bad. It does look a little taller than I really would prefer it, but I think in some ways it's gonna have to be that way. We can't really cover up the bridge system here too much, which becomes a kind of a weak point, but we could find a solution to that eventually. But this is the shell that I'm kind of looking at in terms of heavy armor. We do need to make some more coverage, of course, to cover some of these things up, like the mods here and everything like that, but we're not gonna go too crazy with it. But this is a good start. It's again a little taller than I prefer it, but if we could stretch out the front a little bit, it'll probably not look as tall in that case, because right now it's a short system without the bridge system, so that's probably why it's making it look tall. And on the bottom, we added a little bit, but not too much for now, because we don't really need that much protection at the bottom per se. But of course, if something does get underneath us, then yeah, we'll be in trouble. So we gotta protect that. But at least we have a decent connecting point right here, and it gives us kind of like artillery or cannons up top. We're gonna have to find more spots to connect, so maybe we do like a connecting point right over here, because I think we can find a connector right over there as well, so we could connect some piping and everything like that along this block right here if need be, right? And then we can add some more turrets and things like that as well, because what I'm thinking is it's gonna get covered up anyways by the turret and everything, and it's gonna give it protection more from the side than it really does from the top in that case. Or we just build a weapon right here where it's connected only here, and we build outside as another cannon, and we can do one over here as well, so we have multiple points of these things here. But of course, the real big piece is how heavy is this thing now? Pretty much with the heavy armor block. Is it gonna move freely? Well, it looks like it's not as heavy as I really think it is. To be honest, we could probably add a little bit more hydrogen thrust if need be. We probably don't actually need to add more thrust on the thing itself, or the exoskeleton itself, but we probably should, because it's going to be a modular thing. So we got to find space for thrusting in that case too. But it's looking decent. It's not too bad. I do wish it was a little bit on the shorter side. So I wanted to end up right over here maybe. But unfortunately, that's not going to be possible, because we do need a connecting point somewhere over here. I mean, we could find a different spot, but then we also exposed our little spine system here, which we probably should not expose, but expose maybe a little bit. I don't know. I think it's looking decent. It could be better. It definitely could be better. But it's going to take some time, but I think we're getting somewhere. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Ship Evolution. You guys know what to do, and that's hit that thumbs up, like the video, drop a comment down below, and of course I'll see you guys next time. Bye.